Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this session, we are going to discuss about creating the second page, wherein we will be representing the number of the patients by different symptoms. So I will simply click here on this plus icon and I will double click on this page one, Control A, and we'll rename this page as number of patients by symptoms. All right. So first of all, let's say we want to change the page settings. That is, we want to change the canvas background or the wallpaper, so we can change it. I will simply expand the visualizations pane, and then I will click here on format your report page. And then under the wallpaper, we can choose to have a different color, and we can add an image as well. Similarly, for the canvas background as well, we can choose to have a different color and image for the background. So I will first of all click here on browse. And since we want to use this image, I'll be providing all these images, whatever we have used in the resource section. So you can download these images from there, and then you can use them for creating the report. The transparency was set to 100%. We have reduced it to 0%. So now you can see this image. Also, for this wallpaper, let's say we want to have a different color. So I will simply click here on this color, and then I'll click on more colors. And then I'm having a hex code available. Let's say I want to choose a certain hex code for the wallpaper. So I will write it here. I'll remove this F that was written 6 times. We'll remove it from here. And I will now type the hex code of the color that I want. So I will write CEC7BE and simply press enter. And already the transparency is set to 0%. Similarly, as of now, if I'll expand the filters pane, so for the filters pane as well, you can see that this white color is present there, right? Let's say for the filters pane, and in fact the cards as well, we want to have a different color. So I will first of all simply expand this filter pane section, and then under the background here in color, I will simply click on more colors and we'll change the color from here. So let's change the hex code to CEC7BE. All right. And then similarly for filter cards as well, we want to change the background color. So I'll again expand the filter cards. And then here in filter cards, we have something called background. And under this background, I'll simply expand the color. Then again, I'll simply click on more. And here I will type the hex code, the same hex code, that is CEC7BE. So this was just an example of that, how we can change the background colors and how we can, insert the image of our choice in the canvas background. So this is how it can be done, right? Now, once we have changed these page settings, now the point is that we are interested in creating the visuals. We are interested in adding the visuals, right? So let's collapse this filters pane and let's collapse the visualizations pane as well. Let's expand the data pane. And now let's say on this particular report, we want to add different bar charts that we have already discussed about. So the very first bar chart that we want to create is the bar chart in which we want to represent the number of patients by dizziness, right? So, who are having dizziness as a symptom, number of patients who are having dizziness as a symptom, sorry. So I will expand the visualizations pane and will then simply click here on this option, that is add data to your visual. And then here we have the option to add the stacked bar chart. So I will simply click here on stacked bar chart, and you can see that a blank bar chart has been created. And on this bar chart, since we are interested in representing the number of the patients who are having dizziness as the symptom, so first of all, I'll double click on this ID column under the data pane and we'll drag and drop it here under the x-axis bucket. And now you can see that count of ID is being written here. Apart from that, we want the number of the patients who have dizziness as the symptom. So I'll simply double click on this dizziness column under the data pane. We'll drag and drop it here in y-axis bucket. So you can now see that here true represents those number of patients who were having dizziness as the symptom when they face this problem of panic attack, and false represents the number of the patients who were not having, who didn't face this problem of dizziness while they face the problem of panic attacks, right? So that's the meaning of true and false. And we have already discussed that in the previous sessions while we were discussing about the data understanding part. Now it is required to format this bar chart, right? So I will simply click here on this bar chart. First of all, let's say we want to change the color of the bars. So having this bar chart selected, I will simply click here on this format your visual, And then under the bars, here under color, I will simply click on more. And this time we want to use a color with a different hex code. So I will simply type that hex code here. Sorry. And that hex code is 66554E. 66554E. And simply press enter. So this is the bar chart that we have created. Now we further want to format it. So I will click here on this bar chart again. And let's say we do not want the values to be represented along the horizontal axis, and the title as well we don't want along the horizontal axis. You can see as of now count of IDs written here and these numbers are written here. We rather want data labels to be shown on the chart. So what we will do under this visual, here under this x-axis option, we will change the values to off. At the same time, we will change the title as well to off. And then here under data labels, we will change the data labels to on. And let's say we do not want this dizziness to be written along the vertical axis or the y-axis. So under the y-axis, we will change this title to off, right? Although we want the values to be written here, true and false, but we obviously do not want the title to be written there. Rather, we'll be writing it in the title here at the top. So y-axis title we don't want. So that's why for y-axis, we have changed this title to off. Apart from that, let's say we want to make some additional changes to this particular chart. So I'll simply click here on general, and then under the effects, we can change this background to off. So that's all. Previously it was having the white colored background. We didn't want that, so we changed it. Apart from that, here you can see that this true false is written and this data label 620 and 580 are also written. Let's say we want to further format these numbers and true false as well. So we will simply click on visual, and then under this the y-axis, you can see that we have this values. Let's say we want the font style to be Georgia. And then apart from that, let's say we want the color to be, we want to choose this color, that is 66554E. I'll select this color. Let's keep it bold. Let's keep it italic. And you can further increase the size a little bit. Similarly, for the data labels, we want to format the data labels as well. So under the data labels, under values and data labels, you can see that we have the option to choose the font style. Let's change it to Georgia. Let's keep it bold. Let's keep it italic. And let's change the color to #66554E. All right. Now, let's say we want to add a suitable title here at the top. So I'll simply click on general, and then I will scroll up, and then under this title, we may simply write number of patients having dizziness as a symptom. All right. So again, if you want to format this a little bit, so you can change the font style from here. You can choose the font style of your choice, any font style you may choose. And let's keep it center aligned. Probably we can keep it bold, italic, underlined, and we can choose to have a different color. Let's change it to #66554E. All right. And probably we can choose to have a border and shadow as well. So under this general only, you can further scroll down. All right. And you can add a shadow and a border from here. And let's say we want to change the color for the border. So simply click on visual border and change the color from here. Let's change it to this #66554E. And let's change the shadow color as well. So under the shadow, under this color, choose this color #66554E. So here I have just shown you with the help of the example that you can choose these kinds of colors, and in order to make the report visually appealing, you can add certain text, certain pictures, insert images. You can change the canvas background and the wallpaper. So in that way, you can be more creative. This is just an example, and you can create the reports like according to by adding different images and having different kind of formatting, right? But you can take the reference from these lectures that this is how you can create them. And you can then further resize this bar chart as well if you want to. And that's how we have created the first bar chart. Now, since we have created the first bar chart, now we will not be creating other bar charts. We will just create a copy of this bar chart and make some additional changes to get the other requirements fulfilled. So I will simply click here on this first bar chart that we have created. Control C, Control V. I will move this second bar chart here. Let's keep it here. And let's say now we want to represent the number of the patients having smoking, having trembling as a symptom. So what we can do, we can simply click here on this format your visual option. We can click here on this add data to your visual, having the second chart selected. We'll click here on add data to your visual. Now we want to show trembling as a symptom. So since we want to show trembling as a symptom, so in place of, we'll remove this dizziness from here under the y-axis bucket. And after that, we will drag this trembling from here under the data pane, and we'll drag and drop it here in the y-axis. All right, so you can now see that different count accordingly is being shown or represented. And now it is required to change the title as well. So as of now, you can see in the title, number of patients having dizziness as a symptom is written, but here we are representing trembling. So having the second chart selected, I'll click on format your visual, general, title, and here we will write, in place of dizziness, we will write trembling. Similarly, let's say we want to show those patients who are having who have faced sweating as a symptom. So again, I'll copy this chart, Control C, Control V, will probably place it here. And then I will remove this trembling under the y-axis bucket under the visualizations pane. And since now we want to represent for sweating, so we will simply drag this sweating from the data pane and we'll drag and drop it here in y-axis bucket. And now accordingly, the count is being shown. So for sweating column, you must be remembering that we changed true to 1 and false to 0. So 1 represents those patients who have faced this problem of sweating, and 0 represents those patients who didn't face that problem of sweating. And now we'll have to change the title as well for this chart. So I'll simply click here on this chart. We'll then simply click on format your visual, general, and here under the title, number of patients having sweating as a symptom. All right. After that, let's talk about the other symptom, that is shortness of breath. So I'll create a copy of this chart again, Control C, Control V. We'll place it somewhere here. And again, we'll remove the sweating from the y-axis bucket. Now we have shortness of breath. We'll simply double click on this column under the data pane. We'll drag and drop it here in y-axis bucket. And can probably increase the size a little bit. All right. Or maybe we can change the position for data labels. Let's simply click here on this chart and then format your visual or the data labels. We have the option to choose the position. So position is auto as of now. Let's change it to inside end. All right, but we can't see it. So might be we can change the color for data labels. So under the values, let's try changing it to white from here. All right. And now the count is being represented here on the inside end, right? So that's how you can represent these insights using the bar chart. All right, let's say we want to add one more chart wherein we want to represent the number of the patients who face this problem of chest pain, right? While they face the problem of panic attack, they had a panic attack. So we can create a bar chart for that as well. But let's first of all change the title for this fourth chart, that is number of patients having sweating as a symptom. So here we are representing the number of the patients who had shortness of breath as a symptom. So having this fourth chart selected, simply click here on format your visual, then general. Under this you have title and number of patients having shortness of breath as a symptom. All right, and I will create a copy of this chart. Control C, might be this chart. Control C, Control V. Let's place this fifth chart here, right on the top. Let's reduce the size a little bit. Then from here as well, you can change the size. And let's say here we want to represent the number of the patients who have faced the problem of chest pain. So again, I will remove this trembling from this y-axis bucket under the visualizations pane. We'll then just simply double click on this chest pane. We'll drag and drop it here under the y-axis bucket. So again, you can see that this data label for false is not being represented here. So let's change the position for the data labels for this chart as well. I'll simply click here on format your visual. Then under the data labels, you can see that the position is auto. Let's change it to inside end. And under the values, let's change the color to white. All right, now it's visible. And we will have to change the title for this chart as well, because now we are talking about chest pain instead of trembling. So having this fifth chart selected, let's click on general. Then under the title, number of patients having chest pain as a symptom. All right. So that's how you can create this page. And all right, I hope this session was helpful, and we will meet in the next session. We'll discuss about adding third page, and we'll meet in the next session. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.